All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to talk about something that is quietly but completely changing the game for how we build our world. It's called lean construction, and it's all about building smarter, not just harder.
Well, before we get into what it is, let's start with a kind of provocative question. What if the way we've been putting up buildings for centuries is just fundamentally broken? I mean, think about it. Riddled with delays, wasted materials, and just tons of wasted effort that we've all just kind of accepted as the price of admission.
And this slide really gets to the heart of it. On the left, you have the old school way of thinking. It sees construction as just a series of tasks, right? You're just transforming stuff, steel, concrete, into a building. But lean construction, over on the right, adds two absolutely crucial layers to that: flow and value. It's not just about doing the tasks, it's about making sure the entire process flows seamlessly and that every single thing you do actually adds real, meaningful value for the client. So here's how we're going to break this all down today. First, we'll look at the blueprint for lean construction. Then, we'll check out the tools that make it happen. After that, we'll see a massive real-world case study in China. And finally, we'll take a peek at what this all means for the future of building. All right, let's get into it. Section 1, the lean construction blueprint. This is all about the big idea, the philosophy at the core of it all. So, what is lean construction, really? Well, at its heart, it's a philosophy. It basically takes these game-changing principles from lean manufacturing, the ones that revolutionize the auto industry, and cleverly applies them to the chaotic world of construction. And the goals are super simple, but incredibly powerful. Give the customer the absolute most value possible, and at the same time, hunt down and eliminate waste in every form. The engine driving this whole thing is what's known as the TFV theory. So T is for transformation. That's the classic view, right? Turning raw materials into a finished product. But lean adds F for flow. This is all about getting rid of the constant stop and start, the delays, so work can just move smoothly. And then there's V for value, and this might be the most important part. It forces everyone to constantly ask, does what I'm doing right now actually matter to the customer? And if the answer is no, guess what? It's waste. Okay, so that's the big idea, but how does it actually work on a real, messy, busy construction site? Let's get practical. Section 2, the Lean Toolkit in action. And believe me, the Lean Toolkit is packed. These aren't just buzzwords either. These are field-tested, proven methods for bringing a sense of order to the chaos. Let's just quickly touch on a few of the biggest ones. First up, you have the Last Planner System, or LPS. This one is huge. It completely flips traditional planning on its head. Instead of some manager in an office making a schedule, it involves the people who are actually doing the work, the last planners, to create plans that are realistic and reliable. The whole goal is to make the workflow predictable. Next up, just-in-time delivery. Picture a typical construction site. It's chaos, right? Piles of materials sitting everywhere, getting rained on, getting lost. JIT is the cure for that. It coordinates the entire supply chain so that materials, parts, everything shows up exactly when it's needed. No more, no less. It saves a ton of space, time, and money. And then there's value stream mapping. This one is so cool. It's basically like creating a Google Maps for your entire construction process, from the very first design sketch to the final handover. It lets the whole team literally see where the traffic jams are, where the delays happen, and where people are doing things that add zero value. Because hey, you can't fix a problem you don't even know is there, right? And does this stuff actually work? Oh yeah. One study on making precast concrete found that by using value stream mapping, they cut down the non-value added time, that's just pure 100% wasted time, by over 40%. That is a huge chunk of time just gone. That's a massive win. So all of this really points to this fundamental shift in thinking. Lean isn't about small tweaks, it's a total change in mindset, and it's captured perfectly in this quote. It's about moving away from constructing, which is often a one-off custom job, and moving towards manufacturing, which is systematic, repeatable, and quality controlled. You're essentially manufacturing a building. So we have the theory, we have the tools, but what does this look like in the real world, on the biggest possible scale? Well, that brings us to Section 3, China's Lean Revolution. We're talking about the world's largest construction market, which has become a fascinating proving ground for all these ideas. And to get a sense of the scale here, you have to understand China's construction market is the biggest on the entire planet. And as they're going through this insane period of development, they're not just trying to build more, they're actively searching for ways to build better. And lean construction is right at the center of that push. You can actually see this shift happening in the research data. For a long time, the US and the UK really led the conversation around lean. But just look at China. They are climbing this chart fast. They're now the third largest contributor to research on this topic, which shows you this is a serious long-term commitment for them. Now, this project in Suzhou gives us such an honest, real-world look. The results on the benefit side were amazing. More productive, less waste, better communication, and, get this, 0 accidents recorded. Incredible. But the real lesson is on the right side of the chart. The biggest roadblocks weren't technical. They were human. It was a lack of trust in these new methods, a natural resistance to change, and people just not knowing enough about lean. It just proves that changing a process is one thing, but changing a culture, that's the real challenge. And this brings us right to our final section. If lean is what's happening now, where does it take us? What's next for the future of building? And here is probably the most crucial takeaway of this whole thing. Lean isn't the end of the story. In fact, it's just the beginning. By creating this organized, predictable, efficient process, you're actually building the perfect foundation, the perfect operating system to plug in all the next generation tech that's coming our way. And this is what that future looks like. It's all about integration. Lean principles are being merged with building information modeling, BIM, to create these amazing digital twins of projects. It's being combined with the Internet of Things, with sensors all over the job site feeding back real-time data. You've got AI optimizing schedules, 3D printing, big data. This isn't science fiction. This is the smart construction site of the very near future. So we end up right back where we started, with a question. Our world is being built and rebuilt every single day all around us. Lean construction shows us there is a better, a smarter, a less wasteful way to do it. The only question left is, are we ready to build it smart?